Hi, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. So excited here because we're doing a book tag video today. I was tagged in this one by Cliff with Cliff's Dark Gems, and this is an original book tag created by Rainier Books. This one is called the 10 Untouched Books Tag. This one's actually a pretty cool tag. It's pretty simple. There's only one prompt, and that is to find 10 books on your shelves that have been on your shelves for over a year. And this is just to create awareness to read from your shelves and to enhance sustainability and, save some money. I really love this tag because it's just a fun way to chat about books, maybe books that you could have forgotten about, which is the case for a lot of mine, because I don't even want to talk about how many books are on my shelves or on my floor at this point that I've even forgotten about and that I haven't read yet because it's gotten out of control. And I actually found a couple that I'm like, oh, I need to read that. I forgot all about that one. So this was really fun. This was a really fun tag. And this is twice in a week that you're getting messy, no makeup me. I did put some lip gloss on, but it's been a very busy week. Very, very busy week, actually. We had Meet the Teacher this week. We had 5 doctor appointments between me and the kids. So yeah, it's been a very busy, crazy week. And yeah, so yeah. At least you are getting 2 videos as promised. This one's a day late. It was supposed to be Friday. It's coming up on Saturday, but you are still getting 2 videos as promised. You may be getting 2 videos next week as well. I haven't decided yet. You may be getting one on Tuesday and Friday, or it may just be Friday. I haven't decided, but I'm going to do my best to get 2 videos as well next week. We'll see. Anyways, let's get to the books. I've decided to split these up into 3 categories. 1, facts I've yet to face, which are nonfiction. Impulse Buy Hall of Fame, which are books that I had to have right then, and then they proceeded to sit on my shelf for years in this case. Okay, you know how it goes. You have to have the book right now, and then you proceed to find all these other pretty, shiny, beautiful books, and then, yeah. And then we have the Street Cred stack, which are the stack of books that are like, are you even a horror reader if you haven't read these books? You know what I mean? That stack. You'll know what I mean when we get there. Anyways, so the first 2 are the stack of facts I've yet to face, which are the nonfiction. First, we have Cleopatra by Stacy, Schiff. I believe that's how you say that. I kept hearing about this on YouTube, and it's supposed to be really good. It's supposed to be the best book about Cleopatra. Everybody said it's amazing, it's so great. And I'm like, yes, I obviously have to have that book. I obviously have to have it. And then it sat on my shelf for I think 4 or 5 years now. Yeah. I really need to get to this one. It's supposed to be really great. It's supposed to be about her whole life and about her whole world. And of the blurbs on the back, it says a masterpiece, captivating, a cinematic portrait far more complex and compelling than any fictional creation, and a wide panning panoramic picture of Cleopatra's world. Exceptionally artful, a work of literature, a great glorious spree of a story. So yeah, I've been meaning to read this for a very long time, obviously. The second work of nonfiction is Yours Cruelly, Elvira. And I just love Elvira. I got this a good while back as well. And this is her Memoirs of the Mistress of the Dark, it says here on the front. And again, several people said this is really great. And I'm meaning to pick this up. Look how cute this is. Holding a puppy, are you joking? I didn't know there were pictures in here. Yeah, there's some really great pictures in here. So But anyways, I have been meaning to pick this one up as well. Excellent. I just love her. The next category is the Impulse by Hall of Fame. And these are the ones that I had to have right now, and then they proceeded to sit on my shelf for years in most cases. The first one, I actually bought both of these at the same time, but only one of them I haven't read yet. I read An Elderly Lady is Up to No Good. I've told you about this one before. It's actually thriller, not horror. And it's also comedy. And it's this elderly lady who, she's 88 years old. Her name's Maud. And she's really adorable. She's quiet. She kind of sticks to herself. And it says she has no family, no friends, and no qualms about a little murder. This funny, irreverent story collection by Helene Tursten, author of the Irene Huss investigations, will keep you laughing all the way to the retirement home. So yeah, I read this one, loved it, laughed hysterically, and then I got both of them at the same time. This is part 2, and look how cute and tiny this book is. It's adorable. Anyways, this one, and it's been an embarrassing long time since I read the first one, which tells you how long these have been on my shelf. But yeah, this second one is called An Elderly Lady Must Not Be Crossed. And I can only imagine the shenanigans that Maud gets up to in this one. And this is so funny because you know that she's a murderer, but you don't want her to get caught because she's just so adorable, and you just want her to keep going about her business and doing her thing. I'm really curious what she gets up to in this one. But yeah, these two I got at the same time. At least I read the first one and loved it, but I really need to read the second one. At this point, I almost need to read the first one to remember what happened. I do remember a lot of it, and I remember a lot of the details, but I feel like I need to reread it to remember exactly what happened before I read the second one. It's been an embarrassingly long time. Next we have The Return by Rachel Harrison. I think there's a reason. I think I've been putting this off on purpose because it is the only Rachel Harrison book that I haven't read, aside from the one that's coming out. And I just love her work. And I think I just don't want to be out of books, honestly, by her. And this is the only one that I haven't read. And I think I've just been putting it off. Julie is missing, and no one believes she will ever return except Elise. Elise knows Julie better than anyone and feels it in her bones that her best friend is out there and that one day Julie will come back. She's right. 2 years to the day that Julie went missing, she reappears with no memory of where she's been or what happened to her. Along with Molly and May, their 2 close friends from college, the women decide to reunite at a remote inn. But the second Elise sees Julie, she knows something is wrong. She's emaciated with sallow skin and odd appetites. And as the weekend unfurls, it becomes impossible to deny that the Julie who vanished 2 years ago is not the same Julie who came back. But then who or what is she? Yeah, I really just need to read it because I'm sure I will like it. I've liked everything else that I've read by Rachel Harrison, so I just need to do it. Then we have The Prettiest Girl in the Grave by Kristopher Triana. It's another one. As soon as it came out, I'm like, I have to have it. I love everything that I've ever read by Kristopher Triana. I need it immediately. Still haven't read it. And I even got a signed copy. Bought it directly from his website. It says, "To Ashley, come to my cemetery, stay a while, stay forever." And it's signed. So, yeah. Why? I just need to read it. Some girls are fearful, others are brave. One girl's a princess, the next one a slave. But all girls are equal when they're down in this cave until just one is left standing, the prettiest girl in the grave. It's only supposed to be a game. When Bella, Celeste, and Rose meet with new friends at a graveyard in the woods, they soon realize they're unprepared for what's planned. At 24, Aubrey is older than the high schoolers, and she knows of a secret game that's been played by local girls for decades. It starts with personal questions, but quickly moves on to a test of courage as Aubrey guides them into an underground crypt. But even Aubrey doesn't know what they're really getting into. Bella's mother, Holly, may be the only one who does. As a teen, Holly and her friends also played the game, and Holly barely survived. When she discovers her daughter has gone to the graveyard, she fears Bella will get lost in the mysterious catacombs just as she had, and face the same sinister forces. As the girls search for a way out, Holly must return to the dreadful crypt she swore she'd never come back to, and finally faced her own dark secrets. I've heard this is really good, and I just need to read it. Another one. So I saw the author post this and bought it directly from the author because I'm like, oh, need this immediately. It looks really cool. And I bought a special edition, came with bookmark and some other stuff, and came signed. It's called A Starlet's Secret to a Sensational Afterlife by Kendal Kulper. Really cool cover. I don't know if you could tell, but the hands are ghosts in the windows. They have this shine to them. You probably can't because of the window, but it's really cool. But it has these faces and hands in the windows, and it's very cool. And this one is signed, and it just, she drew a little ghost and her signature. Very cool. And it's set in the 30s, which is also really cool. 18-year-old Henrietta arrives in Los Angeles in 1934 with dreams of trading her boring, ordinary life for stardom. She's determined to make it as an actress despite her family's doubts and rumors of would-be starlets going missing. And by the skin of her teeth, she pulls it off. A serendipitous job offer arrives, and Henrietta finds herself on a whirlwind publicity tour for a major film role with a vexingly unpleasant actor tapped by the studio to be her fake boyfriend. But fierce Henrietta has more in common with brooding Declan than she realizes. They both have gifts that they are hiding, for fear of being labeled strange. He is immune to injury, and she can speak to ghosts. When the co-stars get tangled up in the disappearance of a beautiful young actress, they go from bitter enemies and pretend lovers to reluctant partners, and possibly even friends. Together, they might be the only people in Hollywood who can do something about these poor missing girls. And in doing so, they might just fall in love for real. So it's almost like a supernatural thriller and a romance rolled into one, which is really interesting. And it just sounded different. And the cover got me. The cover so got me. That time period, and it just seemed really interesting. And we have the final stack, which is the Street Cred stack. These are the ones that just feel like, are you even a horror reader if you haven't read these? That's what this felt like. And I probably won't even go into these because I feel like everybody has read these but me. And these are ones that I really want to read by the end of the year if I possibly can. The first one is American Psycho by Bret, Easton, Ellis. I haven't seen the movie because I really want to read the book before I watch the movie. Actually, yeah, everybody knows the story of these, I feel like. Next we have The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. Same thing. I've had this copy. I actually thrifted this copy, and I was in this really quirky thrift store, and it was one of those thrift stores that was a really weird thrift store because you actually had books weren't their thing, wasn't their specialty, but they had so many of them, and it wasn't like on bookshelves either. They had the books were just in piles and piles and stacks, and the stacks were like on top of each other, in front of each other, and I had to dig to get to anything. But I'm like, I know there are treasures in here. I just know it because nobody knows what they have. Nobody cares about the books in here. They were just an afterthought. And I had to like climb and get over stuff, and it was a disaster. It was a hazard, really. But I did, and I found some really cool stuff. I found Goosebumps books in there. I found my brain is drawing a blank. My medication makes me forget words. I can't, it's one of the side effects of it. So if I'm ever like drawing a blank on words and you see me spacing out, that's why I usually edit it out. Oh my God, what is the word? Anyways, there were a lot of classic books in there. Some of them were in rough shape, but some of them were in really good shape. And anyways, I found some really cool, there were some really good finds in there. But you had to work for it. And I was in there for like hours. And I remember the lady was like, oh, you like books? And I was like, yeah, I love books. And it's kind of what I do. And she was like, oh yeah, what do you mean? And she's like, are you like a librarian or something? And I said, no, I have a YouTube channel. And she started just randomly, she's like, what kind of books? And I was like, horror mostly. And then I said, and she's like, oh, YouTube. And she's like, I'm going to follow you right now. And she subscribed and everything. And then I remember she had this grave marker. She had actually like this thing, you know, like a temporary grave marker before they put the actual tombstone, but it didn't have all the letters. She was like, could you use this? And I was like, well, I wish it had all the letters on it. That would be actually really cool if I had all the letters. And she was just bring me random stuff. It was a really cool thrift store. I need to go back. But anyways, all that to say that I found this in there along with all this other stuff. And still read it. And that was like at least a couple years ago. And it's actually a decent copy. It was originally, when was this printed? 1980. It's not a first edition. Second printing. 1980. But it's actually a really good copy. But anyways, it was originally $2.95. I wish I could get a book for $2.95. But anyways, I've been meaning to read this one. Then we have The Exorcist. Yeah, and I love this edition of this one. Saw this is a limited edition. This is one of the olive editions. Yeah, I love these olive editions of these books. They have the stripes on the cover. I think they are so cool. But yeah, saw this, and I didn't have any edition of this, but I freaking love this one. I think it's so cool. I love the green, and I have seen the movie, but it's been years and years. It was when I was a kid, and I don't really remember much about the movie just because it's been so long, just that it creeped me out when I was a kid. And I've heard the book is really good. I've heard the book is really scary, and I'm waiting for a special vlog to read this one, but I'm hoping to do that this year. And finally, last one. This one's got a sticker on it. I've been meaning to take it off. But finally, Stephen King, and that is 11/22/63. I've heard so many people say this one is so good and one of their favorites, and that it's amazing. It's a chunky one. Stephen King is one of those that's hit or miss for me usually, and I really want to read all of his books, even though his work is hit or miss. And a lot of times I find that I have a hard time like getting through some of his like newer stuff. But so many people have said this one's really good that I have to read it. And I've had it on my shelf for a long time. It's another one that I thrifted. And yeah. And this is another one that everybody has read but me, I feel like. I think everybody pretty much knows the story of this one, that involves time travel and going back in time and trying to prevent the JFK assassination. And there's more to it than that, of course, but that is the basics of what is going on here. And it is, like I said, it's a chunky book. It's a little over 800 pages. This is one I know it's gonna take me a chunk of time, and I believe it will be worth it in this case. And I don't mind a chunky book. I like a good chunky book. I like one that I could sink into and really take my time with. And yeah, I think this will be worth it. That's all 10 of them. Thank you so much to Cliff for tagging me in this one, and thank you to Rainier Books for creating that tag. That was a really good one. I'm trying to get, I know I've been tagged in other ones, and I'm trying to get caught up, But I love doing book tags. I think they're a lot of fun. It's just I had a little hiatus. Took a little time off, and I got a little behind on book tags. So I'm gonna work on it. I'm doing another tag video next week, and I'm gonna work on doing another video as well next week, hopefully. Should take me a little bit to get back into the swing of things, and also with back to school starting, I've had so much to do, so many appointments to get everybody, to get both my kids ready for school and all that, but we'll get there. I'll see y'all next Friday at least, maybe next Tuesday as well. We'll see what I can get done with back to school and all that stuff. They start school on Monday, so we'll see. Either way, I'll see y'all next Friday. Bye for now.